Good evening, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Friday, December 26, 2014, around 8:50 p.m. in Uecker, Massachusetts. And it's about 40 degrees outside. Pretty nice out for this time of year, which is the first week of winter. Tomorrow is supposed to be in the 50s, another winter day, spring-like day in the wintertime. And next week, we're going to be going back to average with cold and sunny days, but no snowstorms in sight, which is a good thing. But we're going to get snow sooner or later, probably in January, and probably we're going to get days where it's going to be 0 degrees. We'll talk about that later. Some news to report. It's Happy National Candy Cane Day in the United States, and the USA men's junior hockey team beat Finland by the score of 2-1 in a preliminary matchup for the World Junior Hockey Championships in Canada. They play a preliminary round for seeding and stuff like that. So that's a good win by the United States. And 31 years ago today, the Iron Sheik beat Bob Backlund for the WWE title at Madison Square Garden. The Iron Sheik had Bob Backlund in the camel clutch, and Bob Backlund says he would never submit, but Bob Backlund's manager, Arnold Skaaland, threw in the towel. The towel means same as a submission. Iron Sheik wins the WWE title, has a 28-day reign, and loses to the next month's Madison Square Garden house show to Hulk Hogan. But that's another story for another day. And that's about it, Facebook friends, on that subject. The third and final video blog of the night, my personality profile. And tonight, my personality profile is going to be about Mr. Baseball himself, Bob Uecker. Bob Uecker is one of the most colorful characters in baseball history. He's a lot of humorous quotes and stuff. He's been the play-by-play voice of the Milwaukee Brewers since 1971 on the radio. He's been an actor. He's been everything since, and a former baseball player as well. Bob was born and he was raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Bob's been a lifetime baseball fan. He watched the minor league baseball team, the Milwaukee Braves, growing up in the 40s and 50s. He played baseball in high school. He was a catcher, but he wasn't a good baseball player. He was mediocre at best. But in 1956, Bob Uecker signed a contract to play minor league baseball for his hometown Milwaukee Braves. And he spent 6 years in the minor leagues as a catcher. He was decent, but he didn't get called up to the big leagues until 1962 with the Milwaukee Braves. He made his major league debut in April 13th of 1962, and he played 6 seasons in the major leagues. He played for the Milwaukee Braves for 2 seasons. Then he played for the St. Louis Cardinals for 2 seasons. He actually was on their World Series winning team in 1964. He played for the Phillies for 2 seasons, and he ended his career with the Atlanta Braves in 1967. Bob was a weak hitting catcher. He was a backup catcher. Weak hitting. He didn't hit for power or average. But he was a good, decent defensive catcher. He didn't make too many errors while catching and stuff like that. But in 1967, his last year in the major leagues, he led the league in pass balls. He made that quote. Bob made that quote that half the time the pass balls were caused by Phil Niekro, a knuckleball pitcher, was in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And also one of Bob's most famous quotes while he was a Major League Baseball player says his career highlight, he said, he hit a home run off of Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Sandy Koufax. Bob made a quote saying if he did not hit a home run off of Sandy Koufax, then Sandy Koufax probably wouldn't have been a Hall of Famer. Yeah, Bob's funny for his funny quotes. His career stats for his major league career, Bob Uecker, 200 career batting average, 14 home runs, and 74 RBIs. That's just like a utility player or bench player, like a career up and down minor league, major league baseball player. He didn't even qualify for being on a Hall of Fame ballot, because you have to be on a Hall of Fame ballot 10 years. And Bob was out of baseball for a few years, but in 1971, Bob Uecker became the Milwaukee Brewers play-by-play announcer on the radio, and he's been with the broadcasting team of the Milwaukee Brewers ever since. His play-by-play partner currently is Joe Block, and Bob Uecker's famous home run call for when a Milwaukee Brewers player hits a home run is, "Get up, get out, get out of here, gone." That's one of the most famous home run calls. Bob Uecker's been such a good broadcaster that in the 70s and 80s, ABC used him as a column man on Monday Night Baseball and some postseason baseball games. In the 1990s, Bob Uecker's worked for NBC doing color man for the Baseball Network games and some World Series games and some postseason games and some All-Star games. Bob Uecker's been like a spokesman for Miller Lite beer for many years back in the 70s and 80s. Says some funny quotes sitting in the front row saying these are great seats. There's actually Uecker seats, which are nosebleed seats. That's one of his most famous quotes. And Miller Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, home of the Brewers, sells Uecker seats for $1. And also, Bob Uecker hosted Wacky World of Sports and Syndication in the mid-80s, which was a sports blooper show. Plus, they had some comedy stuff like sports guys acting and stuff like that. I used to have a couple of them on a couple of VHS tape. They had like a shooting chef, which was pretty funny, and Bob showed his collection of trophies. Pretty funny. And also Bob Uecker was an actor as well. Bob Uecker's most famous acting role was George Olin's, a sports writer / radio talk show host / former ball player on the classic 1980s sitcom Mr. Belvedere. Mr. Belvedere lasted 6 seasons on ABC. Mr. Belvedere, beginning January 5th, will be shown weekdays at 5 p.m. on Antenna TV, which is going to be seen locally in the Boston market on WBIN Classics 50.2, powered by Antenna TV. That's a plug for Antenna TV. 6 days away, Facebook friends, until Boston finally gets Antenna TV after 4 years being on the air. Mr. Belvedere is going to be a future video blog on my videos, probably next week. But anyway, back to the subject at hand, Bob Uecker. Bob Uecker also appeared at WrestleMania 3 and WrestleMania 4 as a guest ring announcer and a guest commentator. His famous thing for those WrestleManias when he was interviewing Andre the Giant, and Andre the Giant was fake choking him like this. Very funny. And that interview segment is on like many WWE home videos, or they showed it when they had WWE 24/7s or Classic on Demand. They probably have it on the the WWE network. And also, Bob was in the movie Major League 1, 2, and 3 as the Cleveland Indians announcer Harry Doyle. And his famous quote in those movies was, "Just a bit outside." Very funny, and those Major League movies are classics. And you could see those, maybe the first Major Leagues movie, from time to time on the MLB network. And Bob's won many awards for his service with the Milwaukee Brewers announcer. 5 times he was named Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year. 2001, Bob Uecker was inducted into the National Radio Hall of Fame. 2003, Bob won the famous Ford Frick Award for the Baseball Hall of Fame for broadcasting excellence. His Hall of Fame speech that year was filled with humor, and it stole the show at the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. 2005, Bob Uecker was inducted into the Brewers Ring of Honor, which is a very prestigious thing. 2010, Bob Uecker was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in the Celebrity Ring. In 2012, Bob Uecker was only the fourth person to be honored with a monument erected at Miller Park, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. He joins Robin Yount, Hank Aaron, and Bud Selig to have monuments erected outside of Miller Park. If you're at Miller Park, you could go down and see those monuments. I wish I could go to Miller Park. Maybe one of these days I'll go down there and see those monuments, because they're real treats, in my opinion. And Bob Uecker's one of the most, I think he's probably the best baseball character of all time, with his humor and stuff like that. Bob's getting up there in age. I think he's in his 80s, but he's still doing a full slate of Milwaukee Brewers games on the radio. Despite having some recent health problems, he's still going strong. He's still enthusiastic stuff at an advanced age. And I think Bob Uecker's going to be around for many more years. I think he's like Vince Scully as well. I think you'll never see Bob Uecker retire as long as he could be able to do it and stuff like that. And that's about it on Bob Uecker. And that's about it on these video blogs for tonight. 3 more are coming tomorrow, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. First one's going to be about competitive balance in all 4 major professional sports: MLB, NHL, NBA, and the NFL. Second video blog will be about retro TV. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about the personality profile, which will be about CBS and Turner sports announcer Kevin Harlan. No top 10 list this weekend. It's taking a rest. And it's coming soon to these video blogs, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, are the top 10 greatest pitchers and players in Chicago Cubs history, top 10 pitchers and players in Chicago White Sox history, personality profiles on 4 famous French-Canadian professional wrestlers next week: Pat Patterson, the first Intercontinental Champion and WWE Hall of Famer, and stooge to Mr. McMahon during the Attitude Era; Rick the Model Martel, former AWA and WWE Tag Team Champions; Arrogance, rugged Ronnie Garvin, former NWA World Champion; and the Mountie Jacques Rougeau. And coming in January, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, to these video blogs, it's the Royal Rumble. It's time for the Royal Rumble. 30 men, every man for himself. I'm going to chronicle the Royal Rumble. And also 2015, you'll never know what's going to be coming on these blogs. Maybe I'll have a video guest or two. Some suggestions? Give it to me, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Private message me, and I could see what I could do for that. Good night, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.